think that a business analyst will still be successful.
Anyway, so the job of the system analyst here, number one is whenever, let's say, there is something goes wrong, whenever there is a problem, the job of the system analyst is to break down this problem into components, then analyze each component where the problem could have come from. So, of course, to do that, they have to start with the process flow of a certain doing something. Usually, they make it in a process flow chart. Okay, this could be already existing, that is already in practice for a long time, or they can recommend to add more process into a system so that it will make the process more efficient and thereby making less mistake or less problems. So, like I said, you break it down into different components, then you analyze each component and see what are the information needed, what are the things that could go wrong. Then you go down into the field and check if these things are properly done or are they doing it, if there's something wrong with what they are doing. And that may cause eventually in the final stage the problem that you are encountering. So that is their job, is to analyze the process, break it down into details, then check its details with respect to actual practice, analyze what is already happening, then create control process wherein the people doing all this job will have less chance of making mistake. Diba? If there is a process wherein people would have to make a decision, but they don't know how to make a decision, so they can just make, decide yes or no, or pass or fail on this. So if you do that, and they are not skilled enough to do the proper decision, next step, something could go wrong. Diba? They make a mistake here, the mistake will pass on to the next process. So you analyze each and every step and what are the decisions each person has to do, and you help them decide to make proper judgment of each process. And once they do not make a mistake here, when they pass the process to the next person, then hopefully this person will not get something that is already wrong. Yeah? So you analyze the next person's job and see what are the decisions they have to make, the skills they have to have. Okay, train them, help them make the right decision, so that the next step, when they pass it on, it will not be a rejected item or something that is wrong. So what you do is to analyze each step. You break it down, then you analyze each step, put control chart, help everybody how to make proper decision, to gather the proper data, how to utilize the data, make a good judgment, finish the process, pass it on to the next person. So that's the job, to break it down. Of course, there are many tools that you can use. Okay, so this is of course there are many chart process that you can use to analyze each like I said, it could be something like called the Pareto diagram, the fishbone analysis, things like that. Then you can use control chart so that the person making something can decide, no, I already made a mistake, this product should not go through to the next process. So you do this, analyze it, so that from the start up to the finish, there will be less mistake, or no problem will be created. So in your context as a let's say computer programming. So you will probably analyze when you make a program, you analyze the process, all the inputs that you have to get, the computation you have to do, then other inputs before, so that at the end you don't get you get the information you want. That is asked of the program, the output that you want.
What are the different characteristics or skills a system
There are tools, no? Like I said, in the context of a manufacturing, let's say in the quality control, or there are tools that we use. They call it the 7 tools of QC. So this includes all the things I said about Pareto diagram, fishbone analysis, control chart, things like that, that you can use. You incorporate into your process so that you can find the problem. Of course, the first thing to solve the problem is to understand where the problem is coming from. So that's more than 50% of the job, is to find out what cause. Tapos you analyze yung mga cause and effect, things like that. So you will find out which is the best decision. What is the best decision for the person making the decision? So those are the skills, how to analyze. There's tools that you use to analyze problems. Of course, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, system analysis will still be there, because there will always be problems, there will always be new requirements, new information that you need. So always, if you go on like what the Japanese do, continuous improvement. Okay, so you have to keep on analyzing the process to make it more efficient. You have less mistake, less rejection, higher efficiency, things like that. Even let's say for your program, you can make a program with a lot of process which are useless, or you can make very short programs that are in a way very efficient also. Then it will make the program more run faster. So it's the same thing. Also, a big aspect for, let's say, computer programming is understanding what the user, what is the profile of your user. Let's say you're making a program for, let's say, children. So you would have to predict what kind of, how the children, the thinking, the level of understanding about computer, where they are coming from, diba? Because if you make it too complex, too hard for them to understand, they will not be able to use the program. So that's when you call the user-friendly. So you analyze also who your user will be. Is it a high-level engineer with a lot of computer knowledge, or is it a old lady trying to learn how to get a menu, how to get let's say recipe from the internet. So you would have to use all those analysis, then design your program based on your user. So understanding of the user profile is very important. In our case, let's say in industry, understanding that the employee doing the process, reading the instruction, are, let's say, high school level, or are they college level? Diba? If it's high school level, you have to simplify. If they are not familiar with English, you have to change your instruction into Tagalog, things like that. So these are the job of the system analyst. What is needed? break it down, then find a way to make sure that all the things that are needed are attended to.
What are the common problems as a business analyst encounter?
Of course, it's cooperation. Cooperation from the people that, because most of the time when you call in a system analyst, there is already a problem, okay? And when there's a problem, people get blamed. Whether you get blamed for doing a mistake, so usually the job of the system analyst is to make a clear detail or make a chart of what is happening now and what do you want to happen in the future. But to get through to what is happening now, you have to talk to people. You have to people who design the process in the first place, people who use the process, diba? So if they don't cooperate, then you cannot do your job, because you start with not knowing exactly what is happening. Your skill is to help people analyze, but before that you have to gather data and understand the process. So you have to have a certain understanding of what you're trying to do in the first place, but because you come from different kind of you have to really understand what you are to start with, understand what other people are doing, make it into something that you can understand, then break it down into components, as I said. So usually the hard job is to understand what is by getting the cooperation of the people you are trying to help. And the same here. I mean, even let's say in our factory, or even in our MIS department. Let's say we're trying to computerize our ordering system. Okay, so there are things that let's say a purchasing or the marketing people but it's not written down what they are supposed to do. No? It's just that they know what they're supposed to do. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. But when you try to put it down into a process, they have to discuss everything, all the things that needs to do. So that is the part that is very difficult. It's to get it's the people part. Talking or interaction with the people you are going to affect. Okay na yan?
Okay, thank you.
Did you actually understand what I said?